New Age Multimedia has brought 2 films that highlight and touch on Polynesia: Moana and Lilo and Stitch. Both of these films are great examples of how island life can be perceived, Polynesian dance and music, and what that looks like to an islander, to a Pacific Islander. Pacific Island dance notes and talks about the way of life, how we hold things dear to us, our genealogy, what our likes are, our dislikes are, what's ceremonial, how we are in a community. It's a storytelling way to deliver history. I'm grateful that there's these movies that have come out and they're recognizable. Early Polynesian history and language was never written down. It was passed orally. Polynesian dance and music tells the story of island life. It tells the story of genealogy. And it was designed to be taught in the village, to be passed along the generations, specifically for the children. There's 5 core Polynesian islands that are typically featured in a luau show. Hawaii tells the story with the hands.
So hula in Hawaii, you can tell there's 2 different types. There's the ancient style, which is called kahiko, and there's the newer side, the more popular side that we're familiar with, which is awana. Kahiko was done until about the early 1800s in the history of Hawaii. Nothing was ever written down. So if I wanted to tell you what my life was about, I would make a dance. But I would also need to have a costume that represents that particular time. Just like when we look at pictures of, the fashions back in the 20s, 30s, you can tell the difference. I can tell from when a dance was made because of their costumes. It will sometimes reflect the European fashions. They'll even dance in high-heel shoes. And back when it was kahiko, it was basically a loincloth and just, a sash thing around your waist. It was when the missionaries from Europe came to the Hawaiian Islands that they said, no, not a good thing. So they actually banned hula from the islands of Hawaii for 20 years. They had to go underground to keep their culture alive. It wasn't until a king came through that was actually called the Merry Monarch, because he loved hula and dance and song, and he let hula come back to the culture of Hawaii. Then you have the modernization of Hawaii, and they like to give, credit to Elvis Presley. Back when he did the movie Blue Hawaii, everybody's attention turned to Hawaii. And that's when he brought along that awana style, which has the ukuleles, the guitars, the different melodies and harmonies. So I can tell, this was done around this time. Hulas can be made about anything. There are hulas about food. There are hulas about the sugarcane fields and how that put Hawaii on the map because of sugar. There are songs about, the valleys and the mountains and the rain and the winds and all of the gods and goddesses that were back from the Hawaiian culture.
Tahiti, eyes on the hips. Listen to the beat of the drum.
In Tahiti, when you listen or watch Tahitian dance, they have beautiful, slow dances. And in Tahiti, they will sing about, again, the beautiful, nice, graceful dances and the nice long dresses that they wear. The things that you're probably more familiar with are the fast hip shaking dances in Tahiti because they dance to the beat of the drums. And that, of course, becomes the heartbeat of the Tahitian dance. Now, they will still do dances about their history, and you'll see them act out maybe a wartime, where they go and they club somebody, but in the form of dance, They'll also talk about their history and their kings that have come through and where people come from different places in the canoes.
Aotearoa, Maori for New Zealand, comes from a colonization mindset where there was lots of wars. So a lot of their dances work on dexterity and what it's like to live in war. Samoa and Tonga are graceful dances that are a little different than the others. Samoa and Tonga, the island of the happy people and the island of the friendly. Those styles of dance are more stationary, very graceful, but the story is told through strength and by the hands.
Malo elele. My name's Tiare Nalani Tangulu and my mom is Tiana. Tongan dancing, I didn't really know about it at first, but after my mom introduced it to me and I went to go watch them, I liked it and I liked watching how they did their hands and their movements. When I do Tongan dancing, I feel like you can tell if you're doing good or if you're doing bad because you can feel the smoothness in how your arms are moving or your hands. Sometimes it's hard because I don't know how to speak Tongan, but the teacher normally tells us what the dance moves mean. Like if we're doing a roll, then he'll be like, this is the ocean. Sometimes when I go to my grandma's house, everyone will be speaking Tongan, and sometimes when hearing them say the words can remind me of the dance moves. And during parties or sometimes they'll have me do a dance and then it connects me in that way.
When introducing culture and talking about it, whether you're teaching or practicing, it's important to take note of those things that are important from those cultures. What's also important to note is even though all of these Pacific islands are diverse, they are very similar in telling the story through motion, with their hands, with their body movements, regardless of the language. In the native tongue, it might seem confusing, but if you watch, you might be able to piece together what the story is. If these songs were in English, the motions would match. And it's such a beautiful thing to sit and watch a story or history be relayed in the form of dance.